All right. Well, thank you everyone for uh, joining us on our live webinar and increase productivity at a lower cost and for monument dealers and cemeteries. And we appreciate that you are all coming on. I'd like to thank the boys from Artisan, Ryan and Dave. Thank you very much for doing this with us. It's very much appreciated. And just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, or you could use the question and answer thing on the top. You can certainly ask any questions at any time. We'll do our best to answer them as quickly as possible. And there's the chat there as well. So I will leave it with Jonathan and Ryan and Dave. So again, thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. So my name is Jonathan. I'm the installation technical specialist for MonuGrid. So I'll be, asking the questions for Ryan and Dave. I go on site and I do on-site training. I do supervision as well, project supervision and stuff like that. So today we're just going to find out why Ryan and Dave are using MonuGrid, how it's working for them, and answer some questions that a lot of people may have about the system, because for cemeteries it's new, but in terms of technology, this is something that's been used in construction for a very long time successfully, and we've just taken this technology and we've transferred it over to the cemetery industry. So Ryan, Dave, again, thank you very much for being on here with us, and if you can give us just really a quick little intro to your company and what it is that you guys do, and then we'll get going with how you use MonuGrid now to do what you do.
So we're in Sandy Creek, New York, not far from you guys. Small monument company, but we have been using Grid for I think 4 years now. Yep. That's about it, really. I mean,
nice. So when you heard about MonuGrid for the first time, like what piqued your interest right off the bat to say that, yeah, this might be something that we want to look at?
The first thing for us was we had our display, which you guys helped us work on there. So we had a monument display in gravel with concrete foundations, and they were tipping every spring. So it's like 40 monuments, and they're always tipping. Now we only had like 6-8 inches of concrete because it was just for display purposes, and we were about to pave it, so they didn't tip, and so we had a nice cleaner display. And I saw you guys on Instagram, I believe, and we're like, well, this is for us was initially something we didn't have to commit to paving. We didn't want to pave out front, but we wanted the monuments to be straight. So we're like, well, we'll try this with those guys, and that'll be our trial for it. And as soon as we installed it with you guys, we're like, well, we'll see how it goes. And I mean, by the time we were done installing it, we had a lot of people there to watch it as well.
Yeah, I remember. Dozen different cemeteries, plus the New York State Cemetery.
I remember.
Yeah, so the install went well, and we're like, well, if these things are straight, a year from now or whatever, and over time, that'll be our test. So that's how we initially got into it, was just for our display.
Yeah, the display. Awesome. So that's pretty much like, that's the moment that you said, oh, this is going to work, is after that your display stopped moving like it would every other year. Then you realized, okay, this is actually going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, every spring it proves it. We can put the level on them both ways, and we don't have to touch our display at all. It's amazing, actually.
Nice. And if I remember, we did that pretty quickly. There was already a base gravel there, so we basically just put the grid on, filled it up, and then start setting your monuments, right? So it wasn't much involved in it, really, because you already had the base layer prepared. So any hesitation with the system before you actually tried it? Like, was there a question in your mind? Like, what was your biggest hesitation to bringing this on site or starting to use MonuGrid instead of concrete?
I would say that, you know, it's new, so we're worried about what the cemeteries were going to think about it, which we don't go into a cemetery that isn't familiar with it without explaining it to them. You know, we don't just show up and use it because they're expecting concrete. So that would be one of the biggest worries about it. And the other thing too is frost, because at first glance it seems like, you know, it's not going to work for that actually, but it's strong.
Yeah, for sure. Because these structures are non-frost susceptible. So you don't have to go down the frost depth. So I guess, you know, which brings me to my next question, actually, you know, not having to dig the frost line is one big advantage, but how different is your installation now compared to, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago or 4 years ago before you started this?
It's a lot different.
Yeah. It's a complete 180.
Well, I'll put it this way, like, so we're a small company that's been growing, so we're doing, you know, more every year. So maybe we do like 100 monuments a year now. I was saying we would have had to hire someone just for concrete foundations.
Some of the cemeteries we go to are an hour one direction from our shop. Some even more. But
right, so now you're showing up with a monument, you know, and delivering it. And we're still doing foundations right now, where no one's doing concrete around here right now, but it doesn't matter the grid. So
so I guess you can show up on site even if it's an hour away. You can show up with the monument, you do the foundation, you drop the monument on, and you go home. There's no driving up there 2 or 3 days later, an hour just to drop a monument on and then come back. Right? You can do it everything at once.
The average install is, you know, went from, I don't know, 30 bags, 20, 30 bags of concrete, a couple hours at least, down to, you know, 40 minutes tops to install the whole process.
Yeah, with the monument on. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So if you had to explain to someone, a new installer, in about 20 seconds what MonuGrid is, what would you say?
I would tell them that it's like a snowshoe for the monuments. I mean, the surface area, I mean, it's so much easier than the concrete. I mean, I've seen concrete, 3 feet of concrete tip and, you know, over time, where the grid just hasn't yet. I mean, every cemetery that we've installed it in since we started, we check the stones that we've done in the past, and it's proven its worth so far. I mean, four years isn't a long time. I mean, but it's been super consistent. Going over treatments and stuff. I mean,
awesome. That's great. That's good to hear, because like I said, we've been really successful with this for 10, 20 years, 40 years in the construction industry. This is how we build stuff. Warehouses are slab on grade. It's all reinforced soil underneath before the slab goes on. So this is something that's been going on for a while. But like you said, it's new to the cemetery industry because we brought it over. So there's a lot of these questions going on and hesitation, and you know, so it's good to see that you guys are seeing the results and that they're positive for you.
One reinforcement to that is, as we get customers, you know, we're selling our headstones. It is under our display and visible. And as soon as you get anybody that has a construction background, they're the people that are easiest to sell on it. You know, they see it and they're like, they pretty much know what it is. So
because they've probably seen it in landscaping and stuff like that before. So that's good. That's good that they're recognizing the product as well, or the technique. So what's one unpredicted productivity benefit that you've discovered? Like, we know it saves time and stuff like that, but what's something that you might have unexpectedly discovered that, hey man, this is really helping us out since we started using the grid?
The one thing I like about it is, if, you know, we've been kind of promoting it in a way because we have to get it accepted at every cemetery, you know, so you have to kind of go through the process. And if you go around here, most people that are working at a cemetery are older folks that, it's a lot for them to do a foundation as it is physically, especially when it's 80, 90 degrees out.
Mm-hmm.
And when you introduce them to the grid and they start to get the hang of the installation, which is real simple, and it saves them all that mixing the concrete.
Yeah.
You're building friendships there big time. And a lot of the older folks are, not only are they, thankful that we gave them a solution so they don't got to do all the work, but they're also making money at the cemetery now too. Because some of them were letting the monument companies do the foundations and then they took it back over.
Yeah, a lot of
they see an
people
avenue where they can make some money for the cemetery without all that work.
Yeah,
So,
we have a few cemeteries that have done that as well. Well, that's good. That's good because, like you said, you got to get it accepted, right, for you to be able to put it in. So if they're accepting it to a point where they're undertaking it themselves, that's really good. And like you said, you're making client relationships there too. So
yeah, they definitely been sending us customers to kind of return the favor.
Yeah, and also
there you go.
Just to add to that, they can also do the foundations to order instead of like having to wait for a bunch of foundation orders to get a concrete truck.
Mm-hmm.
If they got the grid,
that's true.
They can, okay, you guys ready? Bang. I mean, they can put it right in and still get another half day's work or 3/4 of a day's work in besides. So
yeah,
good point.
That's another good.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if you're looking at, Charles, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, just we have a question from Trevor Howard. He's asking, is the display on flat ground? And the second part is, how deep were the previous concrete foundations? So I was talking about your display, I'm assuming, Ryan.
Yeah, so it is pretty much perfectly level. Well, the grid is definitely level. The concrete, I think I said initially there, but it was only like 2x6 forming because it was for the display, so we were adding, so it wasn't like it was deep enough anyways, but still, like around here, that's the other problem and the advantage to the grid is there's a lot of people that aren't pouring the concrete deep enough anyways, and they actually know it. They admit to us all the time, well, it's definitely not, So it wasn't very deep, no, but it was moving, in the course of 1 year. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen, but it did, and now it's not.
Yeah, so you created sort of just a beam, a concrete beam on the soil.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the thing with it. People often forget that no matter what you're putting on the soil's still holding it up. And the reason why you have to go deep with concrete is 2 reasons. 1, frost depth, if you're in a frost area, and 2 is the competency of the soil. If you put heavy concrete on the soil, the heavier you go and the more you put in, the deeper you have to go to get to a more competent soil for that concrete or the soil to be able to hold it up. So what you're doing there is you're compounding weight on the soil, and you're adding more pressure and stress. The grid does the opposite. You're replacing soil with granular soil, which weighs about the same, and then a piece of plastic that weighs less than 3 pounds. So you're not adding any stress to the soil. You're dispersing the weight and preventing the soil from being compacted. Because you're doing that, you can move the soil right up to the underside of the monument as close as you can. You don't have to go as deep, and these are not frost susceptible, so you don't have to go down to frost depth. So that's the technical answer for that. So we're going to talk a little bit about your cost reductions here. So if you look at an install cost per monument now versus before, what's your biggest drop? Is it time, labor, the concrete? What is it?
Yeah, it's a huge mix of all of it, really. I mean,
okay.
Like especially driving, like I said, an hour away to a cemetery. The first trip is a truckload of concrete. Some cemeteries don't have water. Some cemeteries don't have somewhere to dump the debris. So just going there with a MonuGrid, you're not digging very much out. So the debris pile is way less. You can even throw wheelbarrows in the back of the truck and take it with you.
So that flows in perfectly to my next question was or are you able to reduce the amount of equipment that you take out because of MonuGrid? So
absolutely. We got rid of the concrete mixer, guys. I mean, just about.
Nice. Good, good.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I think my next question, like how quickly did MonuGrid pay for itself in your operations? I think that's pretty obvious that it's immediate.
Yes,
So I
yes.
mean, I won't even get you to answer that. So if you had to pick one cost advantage that works, like that is the best for you, like what's your biggest, if you have to pick one cost saving advantage, what would it be for you guys?
Probably time.
Yeah, it would be the time
Time, eh?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for most people, that's what it is. When I talk to cemeteries and, you know, the grid is $23 a piece. So some people say, you know, I can get a bag of sackreed for $4. Even if it was the same price, the quickness, I think, and the time you save would make it so that you would have an advantage with MonuGrid anyway. But the fact of the matter is that it's it's cheaper than concrete and it's faster. So you're saving on both ends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, John, if
Yep.
I can just quickly, I know that the gentleman from Gate of Heaven, Jeff and Jeff, are on the call, and they've been using it for years at Gate of Heaven. And I was just wondering if I could get Jeff and Jeff to give a perspective of the cemetery side of things. Just real quick, if you guys want to add something.
All right.
Who are you talking to?
No, I was just referring to you, Jeff.
Not me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with a monument company in Massachusetts here. I'm
Oh,
not with-
okay. Sorry. Okay, because I saw some other Jeff come on.
Oh, sorry. I can explain my situation up in Massachusetts if you want.
Sure.
Just to give you a background on our company. Our company is called the Quincy Memorials Group.
Yes.
We have 7 locations in Massachusetts. The thing about Massachusetts is that most cemeteries do their own foundations. So they don't let the monument companies do the foundations. The problem is with your product is that the cemeteries don't know about it, or they can't trust it yet. So they haven't gotten the exposure out here to be able to trust that it works.
Right.
So they need the thumbs up from reputable cemeteries in Massachusetts that are using it, that are testing it, that are giving it positive feedback in order for it to gain steam. Now, I'm the president of the Massachusetts Monument Builders Association here in Massachusetts, and I also go to all the Massachusetts Cemetery Association meetings. So I think it would be prudent for you guys to come to some of those meetings, or someone to really promote the product. You know, and there's opportunities for you a couple times a year to do that during the association meetings, but it's not going to gain steam until people are using it and talking about it. You know, so and
I
it's the
appreciate that.
cemeteries in Massachusetts that are really going to take hold of this, and I really think it's going to be beneficial to my business too, because we have a lot of cemeteries that pour really bad foundations. Again,
Yes.
like someone else said, they don't pour it
Yes.
deep enough. They
Yeah.
don't pour it level, and we have to deal with it. And we have to shim it up. We have to put sometimes bricks underneath just to keep it level.
That's
And
crazy.
it's ridiculous what we have to deal with it on the monument setting side.
Yeah.
But you have to get through to the cemeteries. And I know one cemetery here recommends it, which is JCAM, the association there, and they recommended me get on this call. And we've set some things with JCAM. We're hoping that that can gain steam, but and hopefully it's working for them, you know, over the long term. But again, the word needs to spread more.
Yeah.
And I'm
No.
pretty confident that what you have, we bought some ourselves to use. We just haven't used it because we don't need to pour the foundations. It's the cemetery's job to do that. They won't let us do it.
Okay.
So
No, that's
that's
great
the
insight,
situation.
and I appreciate that, Jeff. And I'm sure Ryan and Dave, you guys probably come across some of the cemeteries, and I'll let John continue here, that you know, are reluctant maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for the input. It's great. And yeah, that's the thing, right? Is it's awareness and letting people know that we're out there and stuff, and then the time period that they have to take to adjust to something as drastic as this, right? Going from 4 feet of concrete to 12 inches of gravel really raises eyebrows for everyone. But you know, we've gone through this in the construction industry too, and now it's a standard. So we're gonna get there, and I'm absolutely going to go to Massachusetts to these meetings. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
connecting it and
Yep.
to put in perspective, the president of the Massachusetts Cemetery Association, Alan McKinnon, this year, he pours his foundations 4 feet down and he reinforces them with rebar. So, and he does it the right way, and they stay level based on like the proper construction guidelines. But he could be saving a bunch of time and money if he can trust the system to handle it long term. But he's one that, if you're convinced that this works, could really promote it across the region. So
That's
great,
awesome.
Jeff.
That's great.
And,
Good to know.
and we'll reach out to
That's
you.
why
Jeff,
we
as
do
well.
these webinars. All right. So the next one I wanted to ask you guys is more of quality and consistency. So quality issues that have disappeared once you switch to MonuGrid. Obviously, it's like when you were saying in your yard that monuments are sinking and shifting. Well, you're preventing that by using MonuGrid.
Yes.
So have cemeteries noticed, the ones that you're working with, have they noticed the appearance of their settings and stuff like that, or the difference with MonuGrid? I know it hasn't been that long for some of the monuments, but are you already getting feedback that, oh, you know, they're looking straighter or anything like that?
I wouldn't say that anyone's saying they're looking straighter, because it hasn't been a long time for them to tip or anything. Like, I do know one instance where we have a cemetery. It's one of our bigger ones. They have a whole wet section, and they have the village is installing the foundations, but like this guy was saying, they're not doing a very good job. They weren't always level, but they also weren't deep enough, and they're in their wet area putting, you know, like 20 inches of concrete in. And all those are tipping. We're talking over the course of the last like 12 years, say, maybe a little longer, where you can see each stone tip in all different directions. And then you can see where they switched to MonuGrid, which is what they're using now strictly, and nothing's tipping. So they were putting stuff in, it was tipping within a couple of years, and everything that's got MonuGrid isn't tipping. So, you know.
That's great. That's awesome to hear. That's good. So in terms of like what we just talked about with Jeff there, what do you tell skeptical cemetery managers, and how do you convince them to let them install it?
I'll do a quick one, and then we'll go to Dave. But one thing I tell people, even other monument companies, is if you don't trust it, why don't you just start with small monuments, slants, grass markers, stuff like that, and see how it goes, you know, and work with it from there. But
yeah. Well, I mean, and I've worked with one of our cemeteries that were really reluctant to use the product, and they've kept with the concrete. But he's had a couple of old, really large, older headstones in the cemetery that had fallen, and so I convinced him to try it on those and see, and he did one, and he checked it religiously every year, and he was very impressed with it. And that after like 2 years, he called me back, and we just did a few more older ones like that, and now the cemetery is gonna switch their new foundations to the MonuGrid. So he did his own test basically in his cemetery, just like we did for our display. I mean,
it's also too like if you're not going like this guy had said again, like, you know, like a 4 foot deep foundation or whatever, yeah, that's probably gonna last forever, good chance.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going deep enough, and you can see that they're tipping in certain sections because they haven't been going deep enough, the other selling point I tell everyone is well, this grid, you can adjust it, fix it real good. So in the future, because they all tip eventually. I mean, if you're not going 4 feet deep around here, they're going to tip someday.
Yeah.
And when we pull a foundation, I mean, it's like $1,500 or something for a big foundation to come in there and take it out, and then why pour concrete again so it can tip again or whatever, you know, just so
Yeah.
we do a couple of those a year where we're pulling out big chunks. It's expensive. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
state doesn't
Yeah.
have enough money around here to fix them all, you know, because with concrete, they might be able to with the grid.
Awesome. That's great. We got a comment in the chat about the pictures where you can see the grid. The ones you can see the grid in are construction pictures. They're before the soil and seed or the mulch goes on. The grid does not have to be visible. You can throw soil and seed right on top of the gravel and it will grow through the gravel. No problem. So the grid does not have to be visible. So I hope that
the after picture is
answered
basically
this
the one on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So guys, walk us through, like you said, bad soil. So that brings up my next subject that I wanted to cover. So walk through what a bad soil installation would look like and how the grid changed that outcome for you.
I mean, what do you
Like in
mean?
sections with a lot of water or,
Oh, right.
you know,
I mean, well, if you dig and the hole's filling in
clay.
with water, that's a problem. So you don't have to worry about that. If you do go in this time of year and it's, you know, it's real wet, it's a mess. You don't have to worry about the holes collapsing and stuff because you're only going 12 inches deep. That's a big factor.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have to worry about mixing it and mixing concrete in a pipe in a hole full of water.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And
put the gravel in and go to work.
You get the different soil types, you know, so you get the loamy, loose, gravelly soil that you're trying to dig a 4-foot hole while it's constantly caving in on you. So the integrity, you're just affecting the integrity of the surrounding soil as you're trying to go to do a good job. Where the grid, you're not digging down and affecting the lower integrity of the soil. That's another way to convince cemeteries to use it.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do a foundation, especially for a good sized stone, and you are right next to a tree, and you're gonna cut a bunch of tree roots, you're gonna kill that tree eventually. So it's huge for that. That's another thing I tell a lot of the cemetery. It's like if maybe you don't want to use it everywhere for some reason because you don't trust it yet, but if you're gonna put a concrete foundation next to a maple tree and expect it not to tip eventually, you know, it's gonna tip.
So do you have a job in mind or an anecdote where like MonuGrid saved the day where you wouldn't be able to install the monument if you were doing concrete or if you didn't have this system?
Yeah, I'll give you my quick one. I'm sure Dave's got one, but I have a logger friend. He's an older guy. He's kind of stern, and he bought like, I don't know, 6-8 plots next to a giant maple tree. Then he bought a huge headstone with a bench, and he said, he kind of pointed his finger at me. He says, you don't go in there and start cutting these roots on this tree. That's why I bought the plot next to the maple tree. He's like, you cut all the roots, you're going to kill the tree, and it's going to come down on my monument. And that was early when we started using this. And I said, well, I explained the MonuGrid to him, you know, and when we went to dig, you only go a foot deep. I hardly hit any roots and kind of saved the day for him. I mean, this thing's right next to the tree.
And that's one of the ones that we check whenever we're in that cemetery.
Yeah, we keep checking it.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. That's great. So now we're going to go into the more of your operation and sort of business side of things. So did adopting the grid help scale your business or get more work? Or we're still at the phase where you're trying to convince people to just use it?
I don't know for sure. I would say it probably is helping it. So we do our own sandblast. Everyone doesn't do that. So that right there saves us a lot of turnaround time. But if somebody comes in and wants one that we have in stock, so we can do our own sandblast, but on top of that, we can deliver it like immediately almost if it helps maybe for a service. So the word is getting around that for us that we're, you know, get some, I mean, sometimes it's a week to make the stone and go deliver it. You can't do that with concrete. So I think we're getting a little work out of that by having quicker turnaround times, but you know.
And the
Okay,
cemeteries that do pick up the MonuGrid, that do their own foundations, they come down to our shop every time they get a
Right.
foundation order to pick it up. So they're, you know, it's a creating our relationship with them. We're even closer. Even if we don't have the sale of the foundation that they're installing, they're still
Yeah.
coming to see us and talk to us, and the families know that it came from us. And so it's good promotion either way.
Yeah, and then you got the display there as proof,
Yeah.
right? You could just
Yeah.
point them to the display.
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
That's great. Have you guys and have you entered any bidding contests or anything like that with the state with MonuGrid?
We have not.
We haven't, and then the main reason for that is because at this point, we're just a two-man operation and we're getting older and we got
Exactly.
headstone sales, so we're not looking for that work as much anymore.
What about quoting, and predicting how many hours you're going to spend at the cemetery? Did it help you quote jobs better, knowing that, you know, it's going to be consistent with MonuGrid and not the same as concrete?
Yeah, to some degree.
Okay.
The one thing with the quotes is we actually lowered our price for the foundation because we thought it was fair because we were saving so much time and energy. So we're at like 70 cents for MonuGrid and $1 for concrete.
Okay.
So it's kind of lowered our price a little bit on the foundation, and you know, it helps a little bit for a bigger monument sale.
Yeah, but then like you
that's
said earlier, Jonathan, the time that we save is worth the, you know, the scales of justice are way out
It's
on
relative.
our side every time. So
Yeah. So for everyone watching there who are maybe skeptical or decide that they want to give this a try, because in our other webinars, you've heard other people saying that seeing is believing, and just get some and try it and you're going to understand, right? So if you were to go back to day one, what would you tell yourself, like the first time that you saw this?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. What would we tell ourselves?
Like when you first discovered the grid, what would you, if you were to go back to the first time that you saw the grid, you might have had some hesitancies and stuff like that. What would you go back and tell yourself instead of hesitating or not trying it out? Would you go back and say, hey man, just give this a try because it's gonna work?
Yeah, I mean,
Or if there's nothing, then
I would just say don't hesitate to try it. You know what I mean? And I would say, I mean, that's really just it. I would just say try it, because as soon as you start working with it, you can find tons of uses for it.
yeah, I mean,
If you're not confident in it all the way, like I said, I mean, there's some monument companies, I'm like, I don't understand why you're not using it for government markers, you know, or grass markers. Like, that's a no-brainer. So,
and
doing
good. Just one on your own display is your own test of it, and you can show the people you can show it to them right there and explain the difference between that and concrete. It really does help having something to see right there. So just to do one on your own display isn't really gonna take that much time or effort or cost, but it does build up the promotion of the product for sure.
Yeah, so that's great. That's basically what I wanted to hear, right? Is trying is believing, and you know, just try it yourself and see how well it works, because the trial bundle is not that expensive and the gravel isn't either. So really what you're wasting is, you know, you're taking 20 minutes of your time to try something in a bucket full of gravel and just look at it and see how it performs.
Absolutely.
So what mistakes did you make, if any, early on that you would tell others to avoid?
We had the benefit of having you guys come and work with us, so we had a little.
We had an upper hand on that one.
We had a little upper hand on that one. I know one mistake. I don't know why I called it a mistake, but we were giving it to some cemeteries, and they started using it, and it's like, it's simple, but you can't like, human nature is to kind of, it's like easy. So then I'm like, don't slack off, you know, go 10, 12 inches deep. and you got to tamp.
Yeah, you have
You
to.
got to like tamp the whole time. You just got to do it right. You're already getting away with all this, not mixing concrete and everything. And a couple cemeteries just thought they could throw gravel in a hole and just put this on top, and they didn't try very hard, and some stuff did tip. So we had to go. We just go and help them learn how to use it. Like, hey, dude, you just got to tamp it. It's really the.
Yeah.
We go there and give them another
Compaction is key.
instructional course, a hands-on instructional course on how we do it ourselves. And
we want it to be accepted around here so that we can use it more and more places, and so that we can the foundations that people are pouring aren't really that good anyway. So
for sure.
Do you use a hand tamper or a mechanical one?
Yep, hand
one's good enough.
Yep.
Yeah, the hand tamper is fine. The only thing I would say with the hand tamper is that it takes a little bit more time and energy, obviously, because you're doing it by hand, and you can't put in as much gravel in the hole as you would with a vibrating plate, because you're doing it by hand, right? So you want to go no more than 3 inches at a time. So building it 3 inches at a time takes a little bit more time. With a vibrating plate, you could go a little thicker. It'll expedite the process, obviously, because it's a machine, but not everybody has one. So a hand tamper is good. Just make sure you're not piling on too much gravel before you tamp it by hand. Number one, you're going to get tired by the time you get to the top. And if you put too much gravel in, some of it's not going to be compacted and not as uniform.
So what we
which
do
is
for
important
that,
if you're going to dig in front of it, right?
Yeah. Sorry, but what we do, the way we do it is we take 5-gallon pails. We have a pile of gravel at the shop. At the cemeteries, they just end up getting a pile delivered there, the ones that are using it. But we use 5-gallon pails. So to do our average monuments, like 3 foot wide by 14 inches. So 7 to 9 pails, something like that. 5-gallon pails. So you dump one pail and tamp. So 1 pail at a time. And to me, we hit the tamper pretty hard, that's the whole thing. But to me, tamping like that, 9 buckets, 9 5-gallon pails of gravel is way better than mixing all that concrete.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Need less equipment too. So have any cemeteries come back to you asking specifically for the grid now? Are you at that point with some of them?
Oh yeah, we got almost all the cemeteries that we go to in our small circle.
So right off the bat, from when you guys came and did the demo, and so maybe a little over half of the cemeteries that came and watched it jumped right on board, and the skeptics by this point in time, most of them have jumped right on board as well.
Yeah. So we're looking at like maybe a dozen. And we're, like I said, we're in a small area, but maybe a dozen areas to it.
That's good. And do you see this, like, obviously, the more we build awareness and the more we get this out there, do you see this becoming a standard in the next 5-10 years for installers like yourselves? I know it's your standard now, but for the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't really see why it won't.
Yeah. And what advice would you give a company who's on the fence about switching?
I would say the same thing. I would say that it's one of the few times where the easier way is the better way. It usually doesn't work out that way. So I would just say try it. And like I said, I would start out with small monuments maybe, and just, monuments next to trees, go from there, take your time.
Put it where you think it won't work and watch it work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. That was great, guys. That's all the questions I have for you today. There's 15 minutes left, so I think we're going to just open it to the attendees. And if anyone has any question, just at this point, you can unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask it, if it's for me or for the guys, or you can write it in the chat. Answers are being questions are being answered in the chat. That's good. While we wait for questions, if anyone is thinking of a question, we do information sessions as well with myself. I go through the whole technical aspect of it, how it works, why it works, where it's been working in different industry for years successfully. We show you how to install it. Once you commit and you get a bundle or something like that and you want to try it, we give a virtual training session so that you know exactly how and what you're going to be doing that day, so that you have the confidence to go out and install it and be sure that it's going to work for you like it has for Ryan and Dave. So if anyone wants to get on an information session, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, so the picture you see behind me, a lot of cemeteries now with cremations becoming a bigger thing. A lot of cemeteries are expanding and creating cremation gardens. So what you're seeing behind me is one of those cremation gardens that everything is sitting on MonuGrid. So, you know, reach out to us and we can certainly help you. We, you know, one of our partners is a geostructural engineer, so we can help in many facets in that sense. So.
Yeah. I will say too, I'm pretty sure that it's better than concrete when it comes to a full burial. A lot of the full burials, they're digging with a backhoe, maybe by hand, but they're going right down the foundation and undermining the whole thing with a lot of weight on it, especially if it's good sized stone, you know, and then you fill it back in and it's going to tip. Where this, you know, it's only 10, 12 inches deep. And when you go to dig, you're just kind of digging under it. You know what I mean? It doesn't really move or anything. It just stays there.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. You know, a lot of people have, that's a very, very, very common question. It's probably question number 2 in the whole thing about undermining. And Jonathan does a great job at covering all of that, you know, especially when Mr. has died and now Mrs. has died, and so they have to redig and for the second burial. And we address all that, so no concerns there whatsoever.
Also, too, if there was a problem, say it is a monsoon, and say the grid falters a little bit on a full burial, it's pretty easy just to fix it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
You're there with all the equipment anyway, right? So,
right. I mean, the concrete
yeah.
The concrete can fall in the hole. We've probably done 3 of those in our short time, you know.
Yeah.
Where it fell right in the hole. But
so at the end,
and like Pete said, I cover undermining and I show you how you can dig in front of it and the structure will stay standing even if there's no soil around all 4 sides. So if you want to see that again, just send me an email and we'll get on an information session and cover all.
do you see that question from Trevor or comment? And Julie is asking if anyone is using it in Texas. Absolutely. So our major clients are SCI Dignity Memorial, using a lot in Texas. Parklawn, we do a lot of work with Parklawn. So yeah, we have a lot of Texas use.
For Trevor's question, I can answer this better for you in a information session if you want to reach out to me and we can cover all of this. And I think we covered it with the guys a little bit earlier, is even if the concrete foundation is properly installed at a right depth with rebar and stuff, concrete will deteriorate over time no matter what. We're using a plastic that takes 450 years to disintegrate, and we're using granular soil that's been here for billions of years and isn't going anywhere soon. So just even if you build a concrete foundation properly, and it stays there in 15 years, you will have to replace it. It takes time, it takes money. You can't set the monument right away. So with MonuGrid, you eliminate all that. You can build it quickly. It'll outlast concrete in the ground by a long time, and you're going to save money doing it. But I can answer these questions and more if we can get on a call together. Yeah, I do have all that, Trevor. If you can reach out to Charles, Charles's information is there. He'll schedule a meeting.
I can also send you that information, Trevor. If
Awesome.
you reach out.
And I just want to make a comment about what Jonathan said about the concrete, that eventually concrete will disintegrate for sure. Here's the issue with cemeteries and the common denominator that we have seen throughout all of the work we do in cemeteries. The common denominator of concrete foundations is concrete, number one. Number two, a lot of cemeteries that we deal with that have issues with concrete foundations don't have the budget to repair them. They depend on generational family members to pay for that. So that's where the conflict starts, right? So now you can go into cemeteries that have degraded concrete foundations and nobody wants to pay for it. So we've got ways to address all this and help, because at the end of the day, the client is the person or the family that is put it out there, right? So. Any more questions? Well, I want to take the time to thank Ryan and Dave. It's really appreciated that you came on and did this with us. You know, we're here to support you. We're here to support everybody. And so, again, thank you very much for this. And for everybody who attended, thank you. And if you have any more questions, please reach out to Charles, or you can find us at our website. There's all kinds of ways that you can reach out to us.